that you're hoping to get out of today's session. All right, okay, knowledge of resources available, learn about Columbian College resources. Great. Research opportunities, internship opportunities. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, hi everyone, we're so happy that you're here. This is Career Readiness Orientation, or Foundations for Career Success for Columbian College graduate students. My name is Erin Ahart. I'm one of 2 career counselors that you all have access to, and Dr. Johnette Ruffner-Caesar is your other career counselor who you can also see on the screen. So your GW degree makes you some of the most employable students in the country, which is really exciting. You're so also lucky to be here. And research also shows that engaging with career services at least once instantly improves your chances of obtaining employment upon graduation. So you can consider this presentation year 1, but I have a feeling after all of the resources and opportunities you learn about today, we at least hope to be seeing much more of you throughout your time here at GW. So today in this presentation, you can expect to learn all of the ways that you should be planning for your career success while at GW, and how you can make the most of your experience here with all of the resources and opportunities that GW has to offer. Oh. All right. So again, my name is Erin Ahart. Just a little bit more about me and my background is that my background in career services is actually on the working with employers side. So in my last role at a different university up in Massachusetts, I used to plan all of the large scale career programming, which meant that I was working constantly with recruiters and human resources professionals. So I definitely know what employers are looking for and what makes recent graduates the most marketable. I'm also a Gallup certified Clifton Strengths coach, which means that I'm trained in helping people identify what their unique personal and professional strengths are and how you can leverage them both in the job search, but also once you enter the workplace. And now I'll turn it over to Dr. Ruffner-Caesar to introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. So happy that you are here to join us for this session. Again, as Erin mentioned, I am Johnette Ruffner-Caesar. My background consists of, I have a 16+ year experience in higher education and in the education nonprofit space. I have a diverse background in education as well as professionally. But after I earned my doctorate in education policy and leadership, I decided to reinvent myself by starting a professional services agency. Through that agency, I support mid to senior level career women specifically. And I do that to help them to obtain what I call professional peace. A year or so, little over a year ago, an opportunity to work here at GW came about. And it was perfect timing because I was very interested in being able to support students. And my thinking was, if I can help students in the same ways that I helped mid to senior level career executives, then hopefully students won't have some of the same professional challenges. And so I'm happy really to be here to share my expertise and really helping you all to move forward successfully in your professional journey. So thank you again for being here.
Awesome. And so one thing that you already heard me mention is that research shows that students who use career services even once during their academic careers are more likely to succeed in finding work and building a successful career. And one of the reasons why that statistic exists is because your career services office or the people who are supporting in you and your careers, like Johnette and myself, are helping you in 3 different areas, which is exploring your career, developing your career strategy, and helping explain to you all of the tools and resources that you have available. So to dig into each one of these buckets a little further, with career exploration, some of you may think you know exactly what you want to do with your degree, and some of you may be more open to a variety of roles, fields, and industries. But I can assure you that during the time you're at GW, you're either going to change your vision for your career or you're going to further hone your focus. But there will be growth in that area. And so Dr. Ruffner Caesar and I are here to help you explore those different roles and industries, the different ways that you could take your degree, but also how your values, interests, personality, and strengths align with your career goals. Please don't forget about those, and please be thinking about those because they are just as important as your degree and your success. The second bucket is your career development strategy. And so this area is all about further refining your goals through taking action. So examples of that might be where you would work with Dr. Ruffner Caesar or myself to reach out to alumni and learn about what alumni in your field are doing for a living and whether or not you want to pursue the same path. Taking advantage of all the resources available. And then the next bucket is learning about what those tools and resources are, which is essentially what today's presentation is all about. And you will learn so much more about those in further slides.
So I'd like to start or help to start the presentation off with by talking to you about developing a career success plan. I think many professional services agencies and sometimes universities start off by jumping headfirst into developing the resume or developing the cover letter, preparing for interviews. And because of my own experience and also looking at what other experts say, I am more than ever convinced that taking a step back to do some introspection is the first step to creating a successful plan. As the saying goes, wherever you go, there you are. You can't get away from yourself, even in your resume writing. And so the first step to this process is getting to know who you are as a professional. And the only way to do that is to be introspective. And what I mean by that is figuring out your why. Why did you decide to pursue a master's or a PhD in a particular industry? What was or is your thinking? Where would you ultimately like to land professionally? And that could mean identifying a particular organization or the kind of culture or the kind of direct report or the type of work that you'd like to do. Knowing that and understanding that will really help to refine your job search process. It will feel less like finding a needle in the haystack. And so I really encourage taking time to sit with yourself to ask those questions. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And to really be honest about that and allow your answers to be your answers and not ones that are based on expectations from family members or friends, or whatever the case may be, but really being honest and processing those components of who you are. Be creative and be patient. Establishing a career, finding a job takes time. You are a student at a prestigious university, but and I'll jump over a little bit, but degrees are tools. They're not guarantees. And like any tool, it depends on your ability to effectively use the tool. Just having a degree from George Washington doesn't necessarily guarantee you a job opportunity. It still requires work. It requires making connections. It requires introducing yourself to people. volunteering, engaging in internships, being curious, talking to professors, staff, getting on LinkedIn, participating in job fairs. All of these components, as we talk about building a connections, are critical. And if you haven't started the process of doing these things and building your connections, I suggest starting now. So, we're in a session right now. You could use this platform to introduce yourself to others who are partaking in this session right now. You could share your email right now. You could share your major right now, to establish a community, because we're all here for the same reason. And so why not connect with one another? As we look at volunteering and internships, these are all great opportunities, or ways to build your career, because even though some of them are not paid internships, volunteering usually isn't, you're gaining experience. But in addition to gaining experience, you're also gaining connections. You're also building your network. So I always say, stay in contact with whoever your direct report is, and have conversations with them about what you ultimately want to do, so that you can engage with those individuals. And so that when you're looking for an opportunity, you can reach out to those individuals, and have conversations about what you want to do, because you never know, who can be in a position to support you and to speak well of you and to start to open doors for you. One thing about volunteer opportunities and internships, however, it's important to be intentional and strategic. So it's great to just volunteer to volunteer, but it's also helpful to volunteer in spaces where that if you need, for instance, you're looking to be an analyst, and if you volunteer at, say, a political organization, if you volunteered, maybe you volunteer to analyze the data, right? Voter engagement or something to that effect, so that you're gaining more and more experience, and that experience can be included on your resume, just like an internship, just like a paid opportunity. And next, again, be curious. And I know we probably have some introverts on the line. I too am an introvert. But it's important to start asking questions, like, of your professors, of staff, of people that you come in contact with. Ask them about their professional journey. Particularly if they're in your field, to help to inform you about what you could do, things maybe you haven't considered. And by being curious and asking those questions, you're also building a relationship. We highly recommend, Aaron and I always say that we are generalists. We are not specialists in any particular field. And so we highly recommend that you talk with your professors in your department. Have conversations during office hours to learn about how they have gotten to where they are, and any best practices that they can recommend for how to move forward in your career. So don't be afraid. Be brave, take the opportunity to really engage them. And then finally, moving from classroom to career. I think I've already mentioned this, but strategically and intentionally pursue experiences. Don't be afraid to leap. Opportunity seek, don't job search. I always tell folks, as you're looking for a job, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a job, you're looking and seeking opportunity. You're not just looking for a job, you're looking for opportunities to be able to execute your gifts, talents, and your expertise. And so when you open it up, really the sky is the limit. And by thinking about it in terms of opportunity instead of a job or a career, that change in language can make what sometimes can be a daunting process, a less of a daunting process, and something extremely exciting for you to embark on and encounter. And so I hope that helps to set the stage, and I hope it also helps you to change or adjust your mindset a bit. And then finally, before we go to the next slide, think more entrepreneurially. Don't think like a worker, think like a business owner, right? And how you can explore and look for new opportunities again to engage in to really further your career and your experience.
Awesome. And I also just want to say, I love that everyone is dropping their LinkedIn URLs in the chat. Awesome. Make sure you're all connecting with each other. So moving on to some of our virtual resources. The three resources that you'll hear about the most are Handshake, one-on-one advising, and our career readiness workshops. So you all already know about our career readiness workshops because you're here right now. But there are so many other workshops that we will offer in the fall and the spring on a variety of different topics. So please make sure you're checking your emails and you're staying up to date on all the workshops that we're presenting. You also have access to one-on-one career advising with myself and Dr. Ruffner Caesar, either virtually or in person, depending on our schedules and when we're in person. But these one-on-one advising sessions are 45 minutes, and they're a great chance to ask any career-related question that you have, anywhere from what are my values and my interests, to how can I perfect my resume or my cover letter, to how do I reach out to alumni. We're willing to talk with you about anything career related. And then Handshake is the one that some of you may or may not have heard of. You all probably have heard of LinkedIn, as I can tell by you sharing your URLs, but I really want to draw your attention to Handshake. This is your one-stop shop for all of your career resources that you have access to at GW. It is the leading early career community in the US, and it's the #1 way that college and university students, including graduate students, search for jobs. So first and foremost, it is a job and internship search platform. But what's different about Handshake versus Indeed or LinkedIn or some of the other job search platforms that you might know about is that employers who post jobs and internships on Handshake have to manually indicate which students at which universities they want to see the posting. So this means that anytime you even come across a job opening on Handshake, that employer has indicated that they're interested in hiring GW students. So if that doesn't convince you to use Handshake, I don't know what will, but please try and create your account and just check out the platform as soon as you can. There are 750,000 plus employer profiles and recruiters who use Handshake. It is also home to a resource library with different career guides that you can use to learn more about specific industries. It is the way that you schedule appointments with me and Dr. Ruffner Caesar. So to schedule an appointment with us, you'll need to use Handshake anyway. And then on top of that, there are interview prep resources embedded in the platform as well. Next, I want to talk to you about LinkedIn. It sounds like so many of you already know what LinkedIn is, which is great, and maybe have even built your profiles already. For those of you who are not on LinkedIn or just want a refresher, it is the world's largest professional social networking website. It has absolutely taken off in the last decade, and you really should be on it as you're getting career ready. 61 million companies use the platform, and college students all the way up to large corporations use the platform as well. What is unique to you in a way that you can use LinkedIn is their LinkedIn Learning area of the platform. This is an expensive resource that GW pays for, and it may not always be available to you. So please take advantage of this while you're a student. LinkedIn Learning offers more than 20,000 online courses that are taught by real world professionals, not a robot, not AI, real people who film tutorials and different videos that you can watch to even obtain e-certificates. The courses that are on LinkedIn Learning range from working on your presentation skills and communication and even sending emails as a professional, all the way to obtaining different technical skills and learning more about programming languages, maybe Adobe Creative Cloud or Microsoft Office Suite. So these are all ways that you can gain experience and even add some of those e-certificates that you can complete for free online to your resume. So please take advantage of this. You also have access to VMock, which is a resume review AI platform. So if you want to just touch up your resume before you come into a career counseling session with me or Dr. Ruffner Caesar, you can upload your resume to this platform and it will give you some baseline edits to get your resume up to speed before you focus on more of the content. You also have access to Jobs Abroad and Going Global, which will help you learn about jobs in other countries. And then GW Career Connect is like LinkedIn. It's a networking platform, but it's just for people who are affiliated with GW. There are more than 4,000 students and alumni who use Career Connect. And what's unique about Career Connect is that the alumni who are on Career Connect have indicated that they're interested in providing mentorship or resources to current students. And so that's a great way to find people and reach out to people, especially because they want to help you. Now, Dr. Ruffner Caesar has talked about all of the great ways that you can gain experience and some of the unconventional ways that you can gain experience that you might not think of, but here are some more ideas. So on campus, for on-campus jobs and internships, you can access the Student Employment Talent Management System, which will allow you to view more than 40 different types of positions ranging from research to social media management positions to front desk positions on campus, which are all great ways to make money and gain experience. So you can check that out. The second on-campus office and resource is the Graduate Student Assistantships and Fellowships Office. You may have already interacted with this office as you were applying to GW or accepting your offer to attend graduate school, but there may still be assistantships and fellowships available, so feel free to reach out to them. And then GW has more than 60 different research centers across the university, and there's one in every single college. You can still check out the research centers that are not in the Columbian College, depending on your interest area and your experience. Some departments outside of the Columbian College may be interested in having you join their research team. And then moving on to internships that could be on campus or off campus. The different types of internships that you could look for are virtual, in-person, paid, unpaid, and micro internships. Micro internships are the ones that people usually haven't heard of before. These are short-term internships that are meant to help you learn one specific skill and help businesses achieve one specific goal with the help of an intern. So these internships could be anywhere from 5 hours to 40 hours, or 1 week to a month with individual hours spread across that month. It's usually not more than 40 hours. So this is also a great opportunity if you don't have a lot of time to gain experience, but you still want an internship. And finally, you can search for all of these opportunities on Handshake, on LinkedIn, by interacting with your department and your faculty members, through engaging with us at Career Services. And again, your faculty members are such a great resource. Oh, Johnette, I saw you unmuted.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Oh, here we go. And so the last thing I'll talk about related to resources is GW's alumni network. GW is a huge university, and so with that comes a massive alumni network. You can see on the screen that there are more than 320,000 GW alumni from more than 150 different countries. And in my opinion, the alumni network is the most underutilized resource. It's something that everyone should be tapping into. My own alumni network from my alma mater is what I'm most thankful for about my education because it has connected me with so many people. So again, you can get in touch with alumni on LinkedIn, but also on Career Connect, which I already shared. And then what's special about our specific career services team within the Columbian College is that myself and Dr. Ruffner Caesar offer career counseling services to alumni after you graduate. But just because we offer these services to alumni, it doesn't mean that you should wait to meet with us. The earlier you meet with us, the more successful you will be in obtaining employment upon graduation. And then finally, GW also has specific LinkedIn groups that are kind of divided by industry, program that different alumni graduated from, and 36,000 alumni of the 320,000 on LinkedIn are active in these more specialized LinkedIn groups. So they're also something you should explore. And then the GW Alumni Association also has different industry groups that you can join as an alumni, but also check out as a student. And that would be a great place to start asking questions to alumni in those groups if you're interested in learning more or getting connected within your field.
Great. Well, Erin has provided all of these great resources. So let's talk a little bit about how to prepare for your student experience, how to prepare for your career during your student experience. This says year one and the next slide says year two, but let's think about it, the beginning of your program and then what you should be doing towards the end of your program. Erin said something really important, and she said start early. And I cannot stress that enough. And the fact that you all are here this evening is exciting to us because this is an indicator of you starting early. And so the first step next to introspection is visiting career services. We can support you, as Erin mentioned, through one-to-one career advising sessions that typically last about 45 minutes. And we can support you in various ways, from resume reviews and construction, career strategy, LinkedIn optimization. One of the other ways that we support you or can support you through these various foundational sessions is through our career readiness workshops. And tonight, this orientation is the beginning of that series. And so it will run through November, where we're talking about a plethora of different topics that give you the foundations or the foundation that you need in order to move forward. So please meet with us, one, not participate in our career readiness workshops. We will share with you the link so that you can see that schedule, but determine what is going to be relevant and important to you, and be sure to participate. Next, obtain work experience, build your skills. And there are so many ways, as I alluded to previously, for how to do that. Internships, work study, volunteer, finding opportunities to serve in a leadership capacity. If you see the next couple, leadership, communication, and problem solving, these are three of the kind of top skills that employers are always looking for, regardless of industry, regardless of what level you're on. Leadership, communication, and problem solving are key, because not everyone can do these things well. And so if you can do them well, you are going to be a highly sought after individual in various roles. And not only finding opportunities to execute these skills, but take some classes. There are free opportunities to learn how to obtain these skills. LinkedIn Learning has a ton of sessions and programs, workshops that are completely free. And most of you, it looks like, are on the LinkedIn platform. Utilize those resources to help you to hone in on those skills. And the beautiful thing about LinkedIn Learning is that once you complete a series of sessions, and sometimes maybe it's one session. LinkedIn Learning gives you an e-certificate that you can actually share on your LinkedIn profile to demonstrate that you have completed these types of courses, which make you even more marketable. And definitely keep your technical skills current, particularly those technical skills that are relevant to your industry, those specialized skills. Stay on top of those things because technology isn't going anywhere. And in the age of AI and, it's very, very important to make sure that you have the kind of skills that are cutting edge. Next, build your network. As I mentioned before, connect with your managers, direct reports, coworkers, and colleagues. Build relationships with professors and other leaders in your department. It's critical. Having connections and relationships with these individuals could literally, shouldn't say literally, but could cut your job search process in half, where you don't have to go through traditional means or the means that everyone else goes through. But if you know someone who knows someone, right, that can speak well of you and share opportunities with you that aren't publicly available, that is going to help you in the long run. So please do not wait until you're at the end of your program before you start to build these connections and relationships. Start now so that it's not a rush. And believe me, when you're at the end of your program, building your relationships is probably the last thing that you want to think about. So give yourself a break and start to exercise and utilize that process now. It seems like most of you have a LinkedIn profile, but utilize that as well. And what I mean by that is don't just use it to read, post, and react. Post yourself, right? Post things that you're interested in. You do create videos related to your expertise in your industry. Videos are still an underutilized component of LinkedIn. Most people just post, but and be personable, right? Share your story, and be willing again to be curious and connect with people on that platform as well. By utilizing LinkedIn and demonstrating your expertise, you're not just socializing with other professionals, but you are building a professional platform that could make you even more marketable. So utilize those tools so that you can again open up opportunities for yourself, and that is yet another way to be more entrepreneurial as you look for career opportunities. Next, think about what you want in your career. Again, I mentioned this before. This goes back to having a level of introspection. What salary would you like at this stage of the game or later on? Do you want to work remotely or hybrid or in person completely? What title would you like? What do you want the organizational culture to be? What type of work do you want? What location, right? So all of these things are important. So again, it makes you it gives you the tools, it gives you the outline so that you can be as intentional as possible in your efforts to secure the kind of opportunities that you want to secure. Because by knowing what you want, it allows you to eliminate some things, right? That you know for a fact that you just won't accept X opportunity, and you can eliminate and move on to the next. And next, research your dream company or organization. Please do research. Please conduct research. Understand, particularly before you go into an interview, know who you're talking to, right? Know what is the organization in the news? What research have they conducted? Um, Whatever you can think of, just find out as much as you can about these organizations. And even as you are exploring potential roles, start looking at the roles that you might be interested in. And again, a good place to start is LinkedIn. Take a look at some of the duties, take a look at the requirements so that you have an outline or a game plan to understand where this is the type of experience that I need to start to obtain in order to be a competitive, viable candidate for various opportunities. And so you can do that through LinkedIn. You can do that through Google search. You can also do that by requesting informational interviews. Sometimes folks are willing to engage with you for an informational interview. Sometimes they aren't, but it's worth a try. And even if the organization where you're looking to work, even if no one is willing to talk with you from that organization, you could reach out and talk to someone that's in a similar job, but in a different organization to really, again, help you to understand the role, to understand what things you need to consider, and maybe what experiences you need to obtain in order to move forward. Okay, Erin, thank you. And so as you go towards the end of your academic career, you really want to begin or continue reviewing, having your resume reviewed and constructed and adding to your resume. And, you know, I always talk about many times resume writing can be really difficult, particularly if you have several years of experience, is not keeping basically a log of what you've done. And I call it creating an opportunity journal, right? So whenever you start a new job, a new volunteer experience, an internship, jot down in that journal, you know, what your duties are and what it is that you want to accomplish in that job that aren't necessarily directly related to the job description, but what other things do you want to do? Again, keeping your eye on what you want to do down the road. And even if the role that you have doesn't give you the opportunity to acquire certain experiences, maybe there's a way for you to create your own experience. Maybe within that organization, you see a need and it's a need that you can fulfill. And by volunteering to fulfill it, you're not only demonstrating leadership, but you're also taking it upon yourself to obtain the kind of experience that you would like to obtain. And so also create your career strategy, talking with Erin and I about what's next and how to move. And then again, back to LinkedIn. I keep saying LinkedIn, but it's such a powerful, wonderful tool. I use it and have reached out to people cold. And just through a conversation, after an hour's worth of conversation, I've collaborated on a whole workshop with someone that I just met. And so it's a wonderful tool if you're willing to utilize it. Next, learn your professional brand. And this is another way of thinking entrepreneurially and asking yourself, what gifts, talents, expertise do you bring to the table? When you're hired, what are they getting, right? What do you specialize in? What are your expertise? And being able to really assess that and know that going into interviews or to job fairs really puts you above many other applicants because it lets the hiring manager know that you are focused, that you have thought about what you want to do, where you're going, and what you're equipped to do. Next, sell your professional brand. And that means you must network. You must talk to people. You must be curious to let them know who you are and where it is you are what it is you're working towards professionally. Folks can't help you if they don't know what it is that you want. And it's very important to be as clear and succinct as possible. Essentially, this is your elevator pitch, your 30 seconds of who you are professionally, so that people can understand and can engage with you and can also work on your behalf as you're looking for new opportunities. Next, join professional organizations, meaning professional organizations within your industry. Many of those organizations have student membership rates. Sometimes the university already has a membership to those organizations, and you can be a part of it through the university. Again, learn from others in your industry, network, and attend conferences and summits, again, to learn more, but to also maybe present at those conferences and summits. As PhD students, and many times you might be invited by a faculty member to present with your faculty person at one of these conferences. That's an awesome honor. It puts your name in lights with your professor and gives you a certain level of prestige, if you will, by engaging in those activities. And you can also volunteer at these various conferences and summits. Again, it's a way to connect, it's a way to network, it's a way of establishing yourself, and it's a way of creating opportunities for yourself moving forward. And finally, get a mentor. And what I mean by this, I want you to think about it differently. I'm not always suggesting that you go to someone or faculty member and say, "Will you be my mentor?" Well, sometimes folks don't have the time to serve in that capacity in the traditional sense. But another way that a person could serve as your mentor is, let's just say you want your professor to be your mentor. Professor's really busy, doesn't have time, but the professor's working on something, a research project, a program, and you see where you can be of support. Well, if you support that professor with this particular activity, you have the opportunity to work with that person up close and personal, and you begin to learn by observation, And so essentially that person is serving in that capacity, but not in the sense that we typically think about it, where, you go out to lunch or dinner and they impart knowledge to you and wisdom, but you have the opportunity to learn from them by supporting them. And you can also obtain a mentor from afar by following individuals on social media. You find what they do really interesting. And so you watch and you observe what they do and how they do it, is also another way to be able to gain knowledge, gain insight to help you along your professional journey. Okay.
All right. And that being said, I'm here to share with you some of the other career readiness workshops that we have coming up. So right now you're in career readiness orientation. There is a session tomorrow, but it is a repeat session. It's not a part 2, so don't feel that you need to watch this presentation again tomorrow. But coming up, we have Revolutionary Resume Back to Basics on September 19th at noon. This is where you can learn the essentials for how to construct an effective resume. And this is a 2-part workshop, but you can feel free to attend both or either section. The second section is Revolutionary Resume Next Level, which is really taking your resume to the next level. Get empowered to create a resume that not only opens doors, but leaves a lasting impression on prospective employers. Next, we have a cover letter is like a love letter. This is one of my favorite ways to explain cover letter writing. It sounds silly, but in this workshop, you'll learn a 3-step process for writing cover letters that really helps to organize your thoughts and appeal to the employer. And that is on October 2nd. And then we also have Resume Madness, which is not a workshop, but it's an all-day virtual event where Dr. Ruffner Caesar and I are hosting 15-minute career advising appointments instead of our standard 45-minute appointments. And here you can ask one or two specific career-related questions, or we can give you a 15-minute resume or cover letter review. And that is on October 9th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you would go into Handshake and sign up for Resume Madness the same way that you would any other appointment. But there are some additional instructions that you will receive from us prior to that day. So those are some really exciting workshops coming up that you all should attend. And if you're interested in the rest of the workshops that we offer this semester, you can view them on our website under current graduate student events. You will also see some other events that are led by the Office of Graduate Studies. We might have seen some of you at our ice cream social recently, and so you'll see other events like that sprinkled in throughout. And then here are some links to some of the resources that we mentioned today. We will be sending out a recording of this workshop, so you can see all of these links in that recording. Or if you want to take a screenshot right now, that also works. So I'll leave this up there for just a second. All right. I'll turn it back over to John.
And finally, wanting to make you all aware of a few job fairs that are coming up. Again, I highly recommend that you participate in these. So the first is on September 11th. This is an all industry career fair. You can look for this, search for this on Handshake and register. And then the following day, September 12th, is one related to STEM careers specifically. On September 20th, a career fair related to museum studies, plus internships and job fairs. So if you're looking for internships and you are under the museum studies umbrella, if you will, attend. Please attend. And I say that strongly. I've had some students come to me for one-to-one sessions and sometimes have a little bit of a challenge. But we have these opportunities here that are available, so please take advantage of them. And then finally, for those of you all that are interested in seeking federal jobs, there is a 3-part federal hiring series that is sponsored by the Trachtenberg School of Public Affairs. If any of you are interested in this, we can share with you the RSVP or registration link that we weren't able to include on these slides, but send us an email and we can go back to the first slide so that you can capture our general email address if anyone is interested in participating and registering for those particular sessions. So you all, we have come to the close of our presentation, and I know many of you have to leave, but we thank you so much for being here. We want to open the floor now if you have any questions, comments, or feedback. We definitely want to know, was this a helpful session for you? But please feel free to unmute yourself, allow us to see your beautiful faces if you'd like to share any questions, comments, or feedback. Thank you, Kayla, for sharing that. Anyone else?